Ms. Davis, you claim you got pregnant with Mr. Hamb's child after knowing him for only 2 months. You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Hamb is the father of your 1-month-old baby, Jarrell Hamb Jr. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're suing him for $1,500 for the cost of the baby shower gifts that you say Mr. Hamb took from you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Hamb, you say Ms. Davis was dating 2 other men, and you are certain that you are not the father of her child.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Hamb, how can you be so sure this child is not yours?
First, Your Honor, I'd like to start off by giving you a little background of how me and Brandy met.
Please do.
I was in my car, just came from getting a haircut. I was looking good in my car. Me and Brandy has the same exact car, just different colors. She was looking pretty, too, I'm not gonna lie. She looking pretty attractive. She flagged me down to stop me so we can switch numbers. When we switched numbers, we started talking on the phone within those same exact hours. So during that time, we agreed to meet up. When I'm thinking we meeting up, I'm thinking it's just gonna be me and Brandy. When I pull up to the lake, after we agreed, that's where we agreed to go to the lake. When I pull up at the lake, she got a whole crowd of people surrounding her car. So as I get closer, Miss Davis then comes and approaches my car. We start having a conversation. As me and Miss Davis having a conversation, one of her female friends comes up to the car and say, well, your boyfriend is getting upset due to the fact that you over here disrespecting him by talking to another man.
Did you remember someone coming up to you and saying your boyfriend's
nobody came
mad?
up to me. Nobody came up to me because it wasn't my boyfriend.
Did you have a boyfriend at the time?
Yes, I did have a boyfriend at the time.
You did?
But that wasn't him.
But that particular person wasn't him.
She had 2 boyfriends. That was just the first boyfriend. That was just the first boyfriend.
You mad?
That was just the first boy. That was the first
was my boyfriend.
Second boyfriend.
That was my
That's
first
the second
boyfriend.
So it's your testimony, Mr. Hamb, she had more than one boyfriend.
Yes, Your Honor, and she's married too, and she's still technically married now. She's not divorced now, she's still technically married. And she had 2 boyfriends too. So this is why I'm in a point where, okay, this can't really be my child due to the fact that she had all these boyfriends, and then at the end of the day, I come found she's married too, so I don't know what to believe.
At some point after you're at this lake and you start talking, you have a sexual relationship.
Ma'am, she got in the car with me, and we left that same day, and we had unprotected sex that same day. We had sex that same day. And after we had sex that day, we was like peas, she was on my heels, we was together.
How can you be with somebody after 2 days of knowing them? How can you be with somebody?
You slept with me the first day.
You didn't even, so what? You had.
So what? But you just said it was the second day.
Okay, look, you had unprotected.
And I'm not lying. Yeah, we did. The first day I met you.
How
I'm
can
not
you be in a
lying
relationship with somebody you just met?
Okay.
Wow.
I'm not saying I was right for
Miss Davis.
I'm
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Davis, you say there was another man, that you did have a boyfriend.
I had a whole boyfriend.
And a husband.
Treated me
you
good.
also
husband separated.
So wait, you had a husband you were separated from, and a boyfriend, and you slept with Mr. Hamb on the second day?
Boyfriend legally separated. Second day, yes, I did sleep with him. Yes, I did.
Okay. So you do understand why Mr. Hamb may have doubt?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Okay, good.
I do.
She already had boyfriends before she was even with me, and just like I say, when she get drunk, she's real sexual. When she get drunk, she gets so drunk that you can't.
You're right. I am.
If she was drunk right now, she would be passed out sleeping
What's wrong with that?
TV.
Okay. What's wrong with that?
I ain't gonna say we was boyfriend and girlfriend, because every time we tried to get serious or try to say, okay, well, you my girl, make a title for each other, it would always be something that's stopping us, because with me being a player, I ain't gonna say being a player, with me being a man, and I like to talk to women.
It is hard. Go on and tell the truth.
Like I said, with me knowing how I like to talk to women.
You had a lot of women too. Boy, I saw that phone.
Just knowing the fact that, okay, yeah, I'm starting to talk to her, but at the same time, I am fooling around with other people.
All right, take me to the point you find out you're pregnant.
I'm at work, throwing up, sick. Couldn't take it, so I told asked my supervisor, can I go to the hospital? They took me to the hospital. I'm thinking I had food poisoning or something, and I was pregnant.
After you found out you were pregnant,
yes.
How did you tell Mr. Hamb?
I called his phone and told him I was pregnant. He was at work. I went to his job, and man was talking about it. He was happy, excited. Yes, I did. Went to your job. He was happy, excited.
So you felt like his reaction was
Yeah,
that of
He was
excitement?
gonna be there. He was gonna help me out and do all this, regardless of the fact of what went on in the past. He was gonna be
And
there.
I gave her my
For me
word.
and my
I
first
gave her
son. I
my
have
word.
2 kids.
And due to the fact of what she was going through, I gave her my word as a man. And due to the
Tough.
fact
You ain't a man.
that the situation with me and my father, I said, man, I'm gonna be here regardless of what me and you got going on. I'm finna be here for this child due to the fact I didn't have
But
to.
is he here? Have he been here? He haven't been here.
But
he
Your
haven't
Honor,
did nothing.
I have
They don't
not-
talk my first son,
So,
Your Honor.
Mr. Hamb, you told her you were going to be there.
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
But now you're in court saying the child is not yours.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
So tell me why you doubt it.
Well, me and her arguing, she told in front of my mother and auntie that this
No, I
was
didn't.
not my
I
child
never
when the
did that.
child was
That's a lie.
4 weeks old.
I never
she
did
told
that.
this in front of my mother and
I never
auntie.
did that.
And the
Never.
second time
I
when we was
told that to
arguing
you
in front of her,
out of
at
anger.
her mother's
I said
house.
that to you out of anger. Out of anger, yes, Your Honor, I did say that twice.
And
out
then
of
the
anger.
second time
we
in front
argued.
of
He
her
make me
own
mad. I'm
mother.
like, you don't.
All right,
nothing
one at a
to
time. I want to understand this. So you're saying, Mr. Hamb, that in front of your family members, she says
I did not
that
say that.
I was not the father of that
I said
child.
it to him in an argument.
It was getting heated, and it's to the point she was like, you know what? I'm just be honest. This ain't even your child, so you ain't got to worry about being here in this child. You ain't got to worry about doing
No, I
nothing
didn't say it like that.
So I said,
I didn't say it
so
like
that's,
that.
That's
I didn't
what
say it like
Nana,
that.
that's
Stop
when I
lying.
completely snapped, because at the
Stop
same
lying.
time, I'm in a 50 situation. Yeah, I want to be happy, but at the same time, I don't have nothing to do with it just because what she put me through.
if you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. You've admitted that at this time you had a husband.
Yes.
You had a boyfriend.
Two
And you
boyfriends.
also
Actually, my husband, we separated.
separated,
Legally
but you had a
separated.
boyfriend, and you also were sleeping with Mr. Hamb.
Yes, I was.
Were you
Unprotected.
sleeping with any of the other
No,
men?
My boyfriend.
All
my
four
boyfriend. My boyfriend
So
and him.
you do admit
Two.
today that during the window of conception, you were sleeping with your
stopped sleeping with
boyfriend
my
and Mr.
boyfriend.
Hamb.
I stopped sleeping with my boyfriend the beginning of July. I say July 10th, around
Hold
that
on,
time.
hold on. Let me get my calendar. Can you think back, when was the window of time you and Mr. Hamb were intimate? Were you having unprotected?
We was
All
having
day, every
unprotected-
day.
Yes, we was. And
All
because,
day, every day.
Because of me.
Like I said,
because
once
of
I had
me,
sex with
yes,
that
Your
first
Honor.
night,
But I-
before
Miss
August
Davis,
two. Before
Miss
August two.
Davis, around what time were you in this relationship? Did it begin?
It wasn't a
It wasn't a real
until I got
relationship.
pregnant. Until
All
I got
right, and
pregnant.
so
It wasn't even a relationship,
around the
yeah.
time you got pregnant, when
August.
when your baby was conceived, what was the month?
August
So
20,
she's-
around August 25th.
The last week in August. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right, so the last week in August. Now, Mr. Hamb.
Yes, ma'am.
You do agree that you were having sex
Unprotected
during
sex with her, yes.
the last week of August with Ms. Davis.
It was a whole
Yeah.
month of August, a whole month before August too.
Boy, you was hitting
So,
Yes.
so the whole month of August. All right,
ma'am.
just circle the whole month. All right,
ma'am.
now,
And
Ms.
before August two.
Davis,
Before
Ms.
August two.
Davis, when were you intimate with anyone else? Were you
The last-
intimate
The
with
same
anyone
time.
My
else?
boyfriend, yes, my boyfriend.
same-
And when was that?
I said the
The
beginning
same
of
time.
July, around July 10th, around that time. That was the last time we had sex.
Ms. Davis, you're saying you were still sleeping with your boyfriend in July.
Yeah, yes, in the beginning.
And then you
of July.
started sleeping with Mr. Hamb in August or late July.
No,
We been
beginning of
started-
July.
we
Beginning
been-
of July.
We had sex, the first time we had sex was the second day we met, and we was having sex on and on every day.
And then but you were also having sex with your boyfriend
Yeah.
during
Yes.
that time.
And her
And I
other
stopped in
boyfriend
July.
too.
He broke up with me in July.
So now you say Jarrell was born early.
He was born in May. I conceived him at the end of August, and I was not.
And
next
that
to my
was
boyfriend. We broke up.
earlier than anticipated.
Yes, ma'am, it was.
And so
yeah.
that is what adds to your doubt.
That put red lights, red beams, everything off in my head. I was in a 50-50 situation. Like, yeah, this could be, man, but at the same time, it's too early.
So you felt like when Jarrell was born, the date he was born was too early
Yes,
for
ma'am.
the window of time that you were sleeping with her.
Yeah, she was spending time with me, but at the same time, she was spending time with somebody else during the same time she was spending with me. So I can't sit up here and say, yeah, I'm 100% sure that this is my baby.
Part of your claim is about a baby shower. So at some point, you had to be excited about the baby. You had to feel
Now,
like
the baby shower,
Yeah.
let's bring up the story about the baby shower. The baby shower, I did not even want until after the baby was here, until I found out it was mine. She went behind my back and talked to my family after I told her not to even distance.
But
away
at
from her.
some point, you had a baby shower.
Due to the fact that she talked my family into it.
I never
And
had- I never-
I got into it with my
Your
Ms.
family.
Honor.
Davis, did you talk his family
Your
into
Honor,
giving a baby shower for the
Your Honor,
baby?
no, I did not. I didn't even know they were throwing me the baby shower. They begged me to come to the baby shower because me and him previously got into it. We got into an argument. He like, don't come to this baby shower. I'm like, you know what? I'm not coming. The day before the baby shower, his mom and his sister called my phone begging me to come. They say it's not a baby shower without you there.
They did.
We talked to Jarrell.
Because you were still
act
pregnant
right.
at the time.
Yeah, I was still pregnant. I was 8 months.
Well, yeah, you gonna have a baby shower without the baby?
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah, I said the same thing.
Yeah, but ma'am, due to the fact that me not knowing that this is my baby, I didn't even want to be around. So I calmed down and said, you know what? Y'all go ahead and invite her. Let her come.
And Ms. Davis, you went.
I went. Me, my sister, and my cousin went to the baby shower. And Your Honor, I didn't get nothing from that baby shower. Nothing. Nothing
It's
came
not
to me.
for you, it's for the baby.
Everything came to him. The baby stayed with me. I should have got the stuff that came to my house. All the stuff went to his house. And
So all the gifts that were given to the baby
didn't
at the
come to
baby
me.
shower
Didn't come to me at
didn't
all.
leave with the baby.
No.
Right, because it was bought by my
They did.
family and me.
So you say you showed up to the baby shower
Yes.
because they said they really wanted you to be there.
yes. And they said they go control his mouth.
Everybody, they said they were going to control
Control his mouth.
Well, that's a
He
job.
don't talk to me and I don't
I'm
talk to
trying
him.
to do that right now. You showed up, people brought gifts for the baby,
Yeah.
but then when you left, they kept the gift.
I didn't get nothing. The only thing I got, Your Honor, was
And it's a
5.
reason.
Okay,
Wait.
can I talk? The only thing I got was 5 gift cards and a check for $45.
And the basis of your suit is that he took all of the things that were given to the baby
yes, Your
at
Honor.
the shower.
And I have a list of all the stuff that I
I'd
didn't
like
get.
to see that list. Please, Jerome, please hand that to me.
Yep.
So what types of items are outlined in this list, Ms.
Baby
Davis?
shower, the stroller, car seat, clothes, shoes,
But Your Honor,
diapers, milk.
It's
Bibs.
a reason
And
why
I didn't
felt
get
that way.
nothing.
So these are the gifts that
It's
were
more- it's more on the
presented that
side.
day?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
And even more than that?
Yes.
Yes.
So ultimately, Mr. Hamb, you do acknowledge that your family came through a baby shower, gave gifts to the baby, but because you say you weren't certain whether or not the child was yours, you decided not to give the gifts to her,
Yes,
to
Your
the
Honor.
baby.
Yes, Your Honor. And at the same time, anywhere I go, I was going to have to take the gifts to her because she had a car full of her friends and anything. So she didn't have nowhere to put the gifts.
But you admit you took
Yes,
them.
I took them to my house. I took the gifts to my
Did
house.
you ever get those gifts, Ms.
No,
Davis?
no, I didn't get nothing.
So, Ms. Davis, you're saying the value of those gifts was $1,500, am I
Your Honor.
correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Hamb, do you agree that the value of these gifts were about $1,500?
Just about, yes. Ma'am.
About?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. The point is this. There was a possibility that she was pregnant with your child.
Yes, ma'am.
Your family stepped up and did what they thought was the
And I
right
did
thing
too.
and
And
had
I
a
did too.
baby
You did.
shower
Yes.
for a baby that might be yours. And at that shower, they gave gifts to the baby.
Right.
Key word is give. Once you give a gift, you cannot take it back. At this time, based on the evidence you presented, I have no choice but to rule in favor of the plaintiff for $1,500 because those gifts belong to the baby.
Okay, when you say I took,
You need to return the gifts, or you need to give her $1,500, which is the value of the gifts because you testified that that was the value, whether or not you're the child's father. The law is the law. And
So-
at the end of the day, you slept with a woman without using protection. Now, I personally think you should be happy and proud that you have a family that would step up to the plate after you have acted so irresponsibly, excuse me, and still give gifts to a child when they don't even know for certain if the baby is yours because they're doing the right thing for the baby. Now you got to do the right thing by the law. You either give her $1,500 or return the things. That's my ruling. I'm done with it. Judgment for the plaintiff. Now, I often ask in this courtroom, do you feel like the baby resembles you?
No, I do not.
You don't.
No, I do not. It's quite a few guys who I might think about because all the guys she messed with is light skinned except this one guy, he's dark skinned. And like I said, the baby is light skinned. So the dark skinned guy, he out the picture, but at the same time, she was still messing with him during the same time she was messing with me. So it's kind of hard to put him out the picture too. And then I see the baby's starting to get darker too. Because he was so light when he first came out, they had to put him on light.
Mr. Hamb, you better go on ahead and present some evidence.
What do you mean?
Bottom line, because that entire testimony that you just gave about the color of the baby and he's browning up,
I'm
and
just
he said,
saying, like-
you do understand that children are born in various colors, shades. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Especially as African Americans, you
But the
understand.
baby also gonna look like one of the parents. That baby don't look like her and it don't look like me. So
Okay.
it must look like the father.
In the case of Davis versus Hamb, pertaining to 2-month-old Jarrell Hamb Jr., it has been determined by this court. Mr. Hamb, you are Jarrell's father.
Like I said, I don't have no problem with stepping up, but at the same time, I can't be in this child's life if she's trying to control me with this child.
It has been determined by this court that you are this child's biological father, which means as a father, you have rights.
But
You
ma'am-
have, listen, stop talking so much and listen. You have to take care of this baby financially, but you also will have the legal right to see the child. If you all can't work together, then you will have recourse in your home state to go to court and fight for visitation and a chance to help to raise your child. Ms. Davis, you have to let him be a part of this child's life because it's his child. Mr. Griffin, you were a married man who had a 2-year affair with your wife's stepsister, the defendant. You say that relationship produced a daughter, but Ms. Richmond claims you are not her daughter's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your other daughter, Lakeisha, is here to support your claim. Ms. Richmond, you admit to the affair with Mr. Griffin, but say you are positive the plaintiff is not your daughter's biological father, and you plan to prove that in court today. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And so how do you end up having an affair with your sister's husband?
Not thinking, just being wild at that time of my age, and just not caring about anything. I can admit to that. I'm trying to fix it for her now.
Mr. Griffin, I have to ask you now. I mean, you a married man, and it's bad enough you sleeping around outside the marriage. But your wife's sister?
That was an honest mistake, Your Honor. But at the same...
Wait, now there wasn't no mistaken identity. You knew it was your wife's
I
sister.
understand. No, I'm talking about me doing what I did.
Was it an honest mistake or a dishonest mistake?
Dishonest mistake.
How long did this mistake?
It lasted, I'd say, about 2 years.
2 years.
About a year. I know a year.
This wasn't no
Oh,
mistake.
yeah.
This was a decision.
Exactly.
Okay? Hey. So for 2 years, you were sleeping with your wife's sister
Yes.
regularly
Yes.
Often, very often.
without protection.
Without protection.
Lord, you should be able to be alone with
Right.
your sister's husband and not sleep with him,
Yes,
or him
Your
not
Honor.
sleep with you. But how are you all spending this much time where this type of relationship could develop?
Because he was taking me home from when I used to go over to their house to visit my stepsister and stuff.
How long had you been married at the time, Mr. Griffin?
I'm still about 10 years.
So you all had known each other for an extended amount of time. Oh, this is all in the family.
All in the family, Your Honor. I was in love, so I thought what I thought was love back in that time.
Oh, because you had worked yourself up that you was in love with him.
Yes, Your Honor. I think that's why I chose to tell him first before anyone else that he was the father. We slept together more unprotected than I did with the other gentlemen.
And when you told him, what was his response? Do you remember?
As I remember, he said yes right off. He came over to my house and he picked her up and he went up on the stairs and he, put her up to the light and he said, yeah, she could be mine. And that was the last we ever discussed her really seriously.
That's the last you discussed her paternity?
Of him seeing her actually, of me and him talking about her, being
I never
as
seen
one.
her.
Yeah, I've never.
That's because she left.
Hold on, Miss.
I'm coming
Hold
to
on,
that
Miss
part.
Richmond.
I'm coming to that part.
Miss Richmond Tykia, you're asserting in court today that you have not seen Mr. Griffin
I seen him one time when I was like 14. But
in your life?
in my life, I spoke to him the first time on the phone like the other week. I never.
That's because I didn't know
talked
what
to
they was
him.
at. 30 years I've been knowing that she's my daughter.
So you've never had a doubt?
Never had a doubt.
In 30 years?
In 30 years.
I did tell him that I was pregnant, but also I did tell him he was the father. But at the time, he also knew I was, you know, with other people also, and he was a married man, so, and I'm sure he was with other people too, so I was with 2 other guys.
So you were admitting that during the window of conception, you were also sleeping with 2 other men?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you tell those men you were pregnant as
No,
well?
Your Honor, no.
Why did you only choose to tell Mr. Griffin?
Mr. Griffin was the one I was with mostly all the time, mostly.
Right.
So that's
and so
why
you know
I
it only
assumed
takes
was
once,
his.
though, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Her mother's saying there is doubt and you're not. How can you be so sure?
Got photos here of when I was young and she was young.
Jerome, let me see that.
And because if it wasn't my daughter, why would the reason she come and tell me that she was pregnant?
Were you with her all during the pregnancy?
No.
We was never together.
No,
You weren't
because-
together during the pregnancy?
After I got pregnant, we never had too much contact because I got into a
No,
relationship
that
with
was
another
you because
gentleman.
you didn't want to come over.
While you were
figure
pregnant
out
with
and
his
find
child?
out.
We didn't hardly see
But
each
she
other.
was trying to hide it from her stepsister.
So, Mr. Griffin, how did you tell your wife that you got her sister pregnant?
I didn't. Because I was too embarrassed to tell her I, had did that. You know?
So, Tykia, I want to hear from you.
Right.
Because I want to understand, at what point did you find out?
Like the first time someone brought his name up was like, my mom never brought his name up. And then we went to Albany when I was in the 3rd grade, and my aunt and my cousins say, oh, you look just like the Griffins. You look just like the Griffins. That's like what everybody always say. You look just like those Griffins. And I'm like, who is the Griffin? She's like, oh, no, those not your people. That's not your dad. I don't know. My mom,
Yeah, 'cause I never
when people
talked to her
ask
about
me
it.
who's my dad, I always said my whole life, I don't have a dad. I don't know my dad. I don't have a name. My mom never told me a name.
How hard is that as a young woman growing up?
It's just sad. And then I always have to hear stupid stories now about some old 70s love triangle. It's just stupid.
Wow, your family, they're your links. They're your pieces to your puzzle when you figure out who you are as a child.
Exactly.
I mean, without that, I can imagine that you did feel like you didn't know where you came from.
I'm sorry about that too, because I was very selfish for years and I didn't want to deal with my past, but I wasn't thinking about your life, and I'm
Right.
sorry.
Probably when I was like in high school, I got a message on MySpace. Can you remember MySpace?
I sure do. I wasn't on it, but I remember
So
it.
I got a message on MySpace from Lakeisha. Just a long little thing saying, I think you're my sister. And I'm just like who is this girl? So
And wait, so when you first got the message, were you overwhelmed with emotion or did you feel like it was a prank? What were you thinking?
I just thought she was crazy because of what my mom say.
Oh, because your mom had told
All I
you.
know is what my mom say.
So, Miss Griffin, Lakeisha, I want to hear from you. You reached out to Tykia.
I did.
And what made you do that?
Well, I was in my dad's room one day because my sisters was taking up the other mirrors. So I was in there doing my hair. And after I got done and I'm getting all my hair supplies out of his room and stuff, I'm straightening up his dresser. And I see some mail from Jackson County Child Support. And I began to look at it and I seen her name. Tykia's name. After that, I decided to look her up on MySpace so I could see what she looked like.
Had you ever been told about Tykia?
Yes,
Who told you about her?
my mother. She just kind of mentioned that we had another sister, but I didn't know what her name was.
So, Miss Richmond, how did Mr. Griffin end up with child support papers if you said he was not the father?
Okay, I'm getting ready to explain that to you, Your Honor. When I moved to Wisconsin with her when she was almost 2, and we took a paternity test at that time, okay? I went on and did the child support, and she told me that, well, the test proves that he's not the father, so do you have another name to give me?
So you
I
were
said, "I don't."
told he was not the father?
Yes, I
All right,
was.
now I want to jump over to you. Mr. Griffin, do you remember submitting to this DNA testing years
I
ago?
do. And from
You do?
From my knowledge, that I got the paper saying I was. the father.
You got the papers, and they said that you were the father.
Yes.
So you're saying you got paperwork from one DNA test. You got paperwork that says you were the father.
Yeah.
And Ms. Richmond, you got paperwork that says he was not.
Exactly. And I also
I've been
called-
hearing that for about 8 years.
Okay.
This is stupid because when I looked, I said, Mom, there's no record of that DNA
Exactly.
test.
That's what they.
Hold on. So now the plot thickens.
Why would I get child support papers if I didn't
I don't
show
know
up for
why
the test?
Jackson County would lie when we call. They said they
Well, that's
cannot. I tried to get
your
the
mom
paternity
just said
card.
right over there herself that she had the test done.
Yeah, I took
They
the
said
test.
you
And I
didn't.
Oh, hold on,
Thank you.
family. Hold on.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Wow, this is
Well, I
complicated.
called. All I know is I believe the other people better than believe in
Thank
them.
you.
And when I called them, they said that they do not have a test.
Thank
they
you.
said that
From him.
we took ours, but he did not show up to take his. That's what they said. If
And
that's
that
not
in and
true,
of
I
its-
don't know.
That
But that's
would've
what
been
they
a
said.
woman.
And
told me.
listen, that in and of itself is why, even at 32 years old, it is important for you to be in this courtroom today.
Amen.
From that very piece of testimony you just said. I want to move forward because I want to understand. In your court papers, Tykia, you mentioned that one of the reasons you were prompted to get down to the bottom of this was because of the loss of your husband.
Correct. One of the other sisters, Griffin sisters, her wedding was May 21st, 2011. And she invited me and my husband. And my husband believed I looked like some of the other sisters. So he was like, yeah, we should go. We should go. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I like talked to the other people, like my sister and my mom. They like, you know, I don't think they're your family, so why would you go all the way to Michigan to a wedding? So we did not go, and that was the day he died.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And he was a firefighter. I loved him to death, and he drowned. So, I mean, I was just so sad.
He drowned in the line of duty?
Yeah, if you go in Macon, Georgia, they renamed the area after him on Lake Tobesaki to the Michael Jones fishing area. So that's nice. And so basically her wedding day is Mike's death date. So if we would have went, maybe he would have been alive. Yeah. I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize.
It's okay.
You don't have to apologize, and you don't have to feel guilty.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No,
I'm sorry. I just want to talk about my husband.
I understand.
Talk about him.
I understand.
Sorry.
You don't have to apologize. What I'm here to make you understand, and I'm hoping that I can, is that this guilt that you feel, first of all, I want to say it's normal. I have lost my mother, and I probably replay that day. It's been 10 years, and I still replay the day. If I would have took the 12 o'clock flight instead of the 5 o'clock flight, and everything that I could have done in between, that is natural. But what I see here is even another layer to this. That because of that lack of security, because of that feeling of disconnection, all of these feelings, I believe, are compounding what your natural grief process would be. And that's where our paternity issues, they begin to anchor us down, they weigh us down so that we can't move forward. And that's why it's important that we come here to get this resolved today. I think it's time to get some answers.
Oh, yes.
Before I go to these results, Mr. Griffin, I want you to look across the aisle right now. This is a woman, you say this is your daughter.
Yes, I believe, yes, I truly believe.
Well, to me, you haven't been in this courtroom acting like much of a father. And I want you to turn to your daughter right now, if you believe this is your daughter, and I'd like for you to tell the court how you feel, and more importantly, how you recognize what she feels.
Well, I'm sorry for your husband, and I wish that I had been there for you. And I'm sorry for not being there for you.
Listen, I do believe you have a level of regret. You come from a generation where I'm sure there was a level of, well, just let well enough alone. Some people believe that. We hear those stories in this courtroom where when things get away from us or people move on, you don't want to disrupt maybe what the new family structure is, and you feel like, well, let me just play my part and stay to the back. But what I do want you to understand is, as this young woman stands here and talks about what she's dealt with for 32 years, I want you to honor the part you had to play in that hurt, because that is important for her healing as well. I'm ready for the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Griffin versus Richmond, when it comes to 32-year-old Tykia Richmond, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Griffin, you are not her father. 32 years of thinking you were this woman's father.
I'm just gonna have to help her find it because I got names for her. So whatever I gotta do to find her father, I'm just gonna have to continue.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Let's go.
You're still my sister.